Here in Japan, we have a saying, the human brain is not a pharmacy. And it's true. After 25 years as a neurologist, I can tell you the human brain was never designed to handle the flood of pills, powders, and miracle vitamins people swallow every single day. A doctor's prescription, when carefully measured, is a must. It's medicine with purpose. But the problem today is what happens outside the doctor's office. The shelves full of self-prescribed supplements, the memory boosters, the sleep gummies, the natural calm capsules. I work at a neurology clinic in Osaka, and every week I see seniors walk in terrified. They're losing their memory. They think it's dementia. They think it's aging. But when I run their test, their brain scans look normal. What's not normal is the list of bottles they bring with them. Here in Japan, we've learned something the rest of the world still ignores. The brain cannot be hacked. It's not a machine you can upgrade with endless pills. Every capsule you take changes your chemistry. Sometimes in small ways. Sometimes catastrophically. As a Japanese brain doctor, I've seen firsthand how our culture of trust and quick fixes has turned into a silent epidemic. People want an easy solution for energy, for sleep, for youth. But the truth is, the longer we rely on chemical shortcuts, the faster we disconnect the brain from its natural rhythm. Your neurons don't need more pills. They need balance, oxygen, and time. In this video, we'll reveal 5 common medications and supplements that are secretly causing memory loss in seniors. And I'll explain exactly what Japanese neurologists are doing differently to protect their patients' brains. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because number 2 on this list is found in nearly every senior household, and new research shows it can double your dementia risk in less than 10 years. All references are listed in the description below because I want you to see the truth, not just hear it. Before we begin, tell me, where are you watching from? And do you take any supplements daily? Drop your answer in the comments below. My team and I personally read and reply to every story. Now, without any further delay, let's start with number 5. And it's one that millions take for something as harmless as sleep. Yet, it might be shutting down your brain every single night. Number 5. Antihistamines. Sleep and allergy pills. They're tiny. They're over the counter. And they promise relief. But the same pill that helps you sleep or clears your sinuses might also be erasing parts of your memory. I'm talking about antihistamines. Specifically, first-generation types like diphenhydramine and chlorpheniramine found in popular allergy and sleep aids. Here's why they're so dangerous for the aging brain. Antihistamines don't just block histamine. They also block acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that powers attention, focus, and learning. When this happens, your brain's neurons can't fire efficiently, and communication between memory centers, the hippocampus, and frontal cortex starts to break down. Over time, that translates into forgetfulness, confusion, and even mild cognitive impairment. A large 2021 study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society tracked 3,500 older adults over 7 years. Those who regularly used first-generation antihistamines were 32% more likely to develop cognitive decline compared to non-users, and unlike short-term fog from sleep deprivation, this type of memory loss can persist even after stopping the drug. I remember one patient, a 72-year-old woman named Maro, who came in terrified because she kept losing her train of thought mid-conversation. "I feel like my mind goes blank," she said. When I checked her supplements, she had been taking an all-in-one nighttime relief capsule every night for months. Within 2 weeks of stopping it, her clarity began returning, as though a heavy curtain had been lifted off her thoughts. The science makes it clear for seniors. Antihistamines can be like a dimmer switch on the brain. The older the brain, the slower it clears these chemicals, meaning their sedative and anticholinergic effects can linger for days. This is why so many older adults wake up groggy, dizzy, or forgetful after taking these pills. Symptoms that are often misdiagnosed as early dementia. If you truly need allergy relief, newer second-generation antihistamines like Cetirizine or Laoretine are safer options. They don't cross the blood-brain barrier as easily, which means they don't shut down your neurotransmitters the same way. But always talk to your doctor before switching, because every medication, no matter how mild it seems, interacts differently after 60. The scary truth is that millions of seniors worldwide are unknowingly numbing their brains each night in the name of rest. And if you've ever wondered why your mornings feel cloudy or your short-term memory feels weaker, your nighttime pill could be the hidden reason. Coming up next, number 4 is a medication prescribed for something almost every senior experiences. But it's one that quietly starves the brain of the oxygen it needs most. Number 4. Sleep aids and tranquilizers. Benzobia. If there's one medication that has stolen more memories than time itself, it's benzobia. The so-called sleep miracle pills prescribed under names like Valium, Xanax, Ativan, or Restoril. They promise calm, but in truth, they are a neurological storm disguised as peace. These drugs don't just make you sleepy, they sedate your brain's control center, your hippocampus, the same region responsible for turning short-term memories into long-term ones. As a brain doctor, I've seen the devastation firsthand. Seniors come into my clinic saying, "Doctor, I finally sleep, but I forget where I put my glasses every morning." What's happening inside their brains is terrifying. Benzodiazepines enhance GABA, a neurotransmitter that slows brain activity. This isn't natural rest. It's chemical hibernation. Your brain waves flatten. Your deep REM sleep, where memories consolidate, gets erased, and you wake up mentally slower than when you went to bed. In a massive study published in the BMJ, researchers followed over 9,000 seniors for a decade. Those who used benzodiazepines for more than 3 months had a 51% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. And it wasn't just memory. They also suffered from balance problems, slower reaction times, and a tripled risk of falls leading to head injuries. These are not side effects. They are signs that the brain is shutting down vital communication pathways. One of my most haunting cases was an 80-year-old man named Hiroshi. He'd taken a mild sleep aid every night for just a few years. One morning, his wife found him trying to open the refrigerator with the TV remote. When we stopped the medication under medical supervision, he regained some clarity. But the memory gaps remained like burn marks in the brain. Hiroshi told me, "Doctor, I remember everything from my youth, but I can't remember my yesterday." That line has never left me. The tragedy is that most seniors are given these drugs casually after a few restless nights or a stressful month without being told how dangerous they are for the aging brain. As the body ages, it metabolizes drugs more slowly. This means that what's meant to wear off overnight stays in the bloodstream for days. Compounding fog, fatigue, and cognitive decline. If you or someone you love takes sleep medications regularly, it's time for a conversation with your doctor about safer alternatives. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, magnesium, supplements, or herbal sleep teas like chamomile can help restore natural rhythms without shutting down your neurons. Here's the chilling reality. Sleep aids don't fix sleep. They replace it. The price: your memory, focus, and awareness. Coming up next. Number 3. Might seem harmless. It's prescribed to calm nerves and reduce anxiety, but it slowly drains the brain's energy supply, leading to memory blackouts. No one connects to the pill. But before we go on, if you're getting value from this video, go ahead and tap that like button and make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss out on powerful health tips like these. Number 3. Antidepressants. Tricyclic antidepressants were once called miracle pills for sadness. But for seniors over 60, they can become memory erasers in disguise. Medications like amitriptyline, mortallin, and amiproin are among the oldest antidepressants still prescribed, and they work by boosting mood-related chemicals like serotonin and norepinephrine. Sounds helpful until you learn what else they do. These same drugs also block acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter your brain relies on for memory, focus, and learning. When acetylcholine levels drop, the brain's ability to form and retrieve memories weakens dramatically, mimicking early dementia. As a brain doctor, I've seen this cruel irony unfold countless times. Patients come to me terrified they're losing their mind when the real culprit is sitting in their pill organizer. One of them was Mrs. Tanaka, a 69-year-old widow who'd been prescribed amitriptyline for mild depression after her husband passed. Within months, she began missing appointments, forgetting names, and struggling to balance her checkbook. Her children thought Alzheimer's was setting in, but when we slowly replaced her medication under supervision, her clarity came flooding back within weeks. She broke down in tears, realizing she wasn't sick. She was overmedicated. The science behind it is clear and chilling. A landmark study published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2015 tracked over 400 older adults for more than a decade. Those who use strong anticholinergic drugs, including tricyclic antidepressants, had a 65% higher risk of developing dementia, and the damage wasn't reversible. The risk persisted even years after stopping the medication. Researchers believe these drugs disrupt neural signaling between the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, essentially cutting off communication between memory storage and decision-making centers. But here's the cruel twist. These same drugs are often given to seniors not just for depression, but for sleep, nerve pain, and migraines, conditions that could often be managed with safer alternatives, yet they remain on prescriptions because they're cheap, familiar, and profitable. Pharmaceutical companies rarely highlight cognitive side effects in their marketing to doctors. Even though brain imaging has shown that long-term users of tricyclic experience measurable reductions in gray matter volume in key cognitive regions, tricyclic antidepressants don't just dull your sadness. They dull your entire brain. And because they build up slowly in the system, many seniors don't notice the decline until it's too late. Every week I meet patients who say, "I just feel slower." They're not imagining it. Their brains are literally working harder to send the same signals. If you're taking these medications, never stop them abruptly. But do ask your doctor about modern alternatives like SSRIs or SNRIs, which are far less anticholinergic. Sometimes even natural methods like structured sunlight exposure, omega-3 rich foods, and regular movement can lift mood without harming cognition. Coming up next. Number 2 is prescribed to millions of seniors for something completely different, high blood pressure, but it can silently rob your brain of the very oxygen it needs to stay awake and sharp. Number 2, bladder control drugs, anticholinergics. Of all the medications I see destroying seniors' memory, bladder control drugs break my heart the most because they target a problem that's already embarrassing and difficult to talk about. Drugs like oxybutynin and ditropin tolterine datenosin vesicare are prescribed to help with urinary urgency and overactive bladder. They promise to give independence back to older adults, but what they often take away in return is far worse. Your ability to remember, think clearly, and stay mentally present. These medications belong to a class called anticholinergics, meaning they block the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which your brain uses to send memory signals. Think of acetylcholine as the spark that allows your brain to light up information, focus, and recall details. Without it, the brain's engine misfires. Words disappear mid-sentence. Simple tasks feel confusing, and familiar faces start to blur. For seniors, this is devastating because acetylcholine naturally declines with age. Adding an anticholinergic drug on top is like pulling the plug on an already struggling power source. One of my most unforgettable patients was Mr. Sato, a 74-year-old retired train conductor from Kyoto. He came to me because he was forgetting train schedules, something he had memorized for decades. His wife noticed he was asking the same questions repeatedly and losing his wallet almost daily. When we reviewed his prescriptions, the culprit was clear: oxyutin, which he had been taking for bladder urgency for 3 years. After his physician switched him to a non-anticholinergic alternative, his focus began improving within weeks. He looked at me one day and said, "Doctor, it's like someone switched the lights back on." Science backs this up. A 2019 study in JAMA Internal Medicine analyzed over 58,000 seniors and found that those taking bladder control drugs for more than a year had a 30% to 50% higher risk of dementia. Even low daily doses taken over long periods were linked to brain atrophy in memory centers like the hippocampus. MRI scans of long-term users show significant thinning of brain tissue, particularly in areas critical for attention and executive function. Yet, despite this, these drugs are still prescribed in staggering numbers worldwide, especially to older women who are twice as likely to develop urinary urgency. The pharmaceutical market for overactive bladder treatments is worth billions, and in Japan alone, nearly 1 in 5 seniors take some form of anticholinergic medication. What's worse is that doctors often prescribe multiple drugs in this class without realizing the combined anticholinergic load can multiply the cognitive side effects. The bottom line: you might be protecting your bladder, but at the cost of your mind. And coming up next, number 1 is a medication so common it's found in nearly every senior's home cabinet. Yet, new research shows it may double the risk of stroke and accelerate memory decline within just 2 years. Number 1. Cholesterol-lowering statins. High dose. Statins are hailed as one of the greatest medical breakthroughs of the 20th century. Prescribed to millions to protect the heart, lower cholesterol, and prevent strokes. But here's the twist. At high doses, these same pills that claim to save lives can quietly starve your brain. Medications like atorvastatin, Lipitor, simvastatin, Zocor, and rosuvastatin, 2-IFTO, are designed to block an enzyme in the liver that produces cholesterol. And while that may sound good for your arteries, it can be devastating for your neurons because your brain depends on cholesterol to survive. Cholesterol isn't the villain we've been taught to fear. In fact, nearly 25% of the body's total cholesterol lives inside your brain, where it's used to build nerve membranes and produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. Without enough of it, your brain's communication system slows down, your mood drops, and your memory becomes foggy. Studies now show that seniors on high-dose statins are significantly more likely to report confusion, word-finding difficulty, and mental dullness, symptoms that often mimic early dementia, but are drug-induced. One of my most heartbreaking cases was Mr. Mand Fujimoto, a 70-year-old marathon enthusiast who had been prescribed a high dose of statins for prevention Within months, he told me he couldn't remember his running routes, something he'd known for 30 years. His wife said he started repeating the same stories daily. When we reviewed his medication list, his statin dose was double what's typically needed for someone his age. After carefully lowering it under supervision, his mental clarity began to return. He wept in my office, saying, "Doctor, I thought I was losing myself." The science behind this is striking. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience followed 600 adults aged 65 and older and found that those on high-dose statins had 36% higher rates of cognitive decline compared to low-dose users. Researchers believe this is due to reduced levels of coenzyme Q10-CoIN, a critical nutrient statins deplete that your brain uses for energy. Without enough KQ10, mitochondria and brain cells can't produce ATP efficiently, leading to sluggish thinking and fatigue. Another paper in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that prolonged use of high-intensity statins increased amyloid buildup in the brain, the same sticky protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. Now, statins aren't inherently evil. They do save lives when used appropriately. The real danger lies in excessive dosing and blind, long-term use, especially without TIL-Q10 supplementation or regular monitoring. Many seniors stay on these drugs for decades because they're told lower is always better. But that's not true. The brain needs cholesterol for structure and repair, especially in older adults. Oversuppressing it is like draining oil from a car engine. It might run smoothly for a while, but eventually it burns out. If you're taking statins, never stop abruptly. But talk to your doctor about dose adjustments, periodic breaks, or adding TIL-Q10 to restore energy balance. Your brain isn't disposable. Protect your memory with the same urgency you protect your heart. So, what did we just uncover together? Medications that millions of seniors trust, the ones sitting quietly on bathroom counters and nightstands, could be the very reason behind memory loss, confusion, or that constant brain fog you've been trying to shake off. Antihistamines, sleep aids, antidepressants, bladder control drugs, and even high-dose status, all designed to help you live longer, might actually be short-circuiting your brain's ability to remember, focus, and think clearly. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to wake you up, because too many seniors are told that forgetting names, getting lost mid-sentence, or misplacing things is just old age. But as you just seen, it's not always your age. It could be your medicine. The difference between a sharp mind and a foggy one might not be years, but milliks. I've seen hundreds of seniors reclaim their alertness and focus simply by reviewing their medications carefully with their physicians. The human brain is remarkably resilient. It just needs the chance to heal. If this video helped you understand what might be happening behind your forgetfulness, give it a thumbs up so it can reach more people who need to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me, where are you watching from and what's one medication you're currently curious or worried about? I read and reply to every single one personally because your stories shape our next episodes.